Israel.
Thank you, Yah.
Yah is the hope of Israel. Yah is the light of Israel. Yah is the way that we should live.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise the mighty Yah. We want to welcome our members of our congregation as well as our internet audience back to our live Sabbath day broadcast here at the House of Israel at 1664 California Avenue. And we, if you would, let's go back to, we just finished our lunch. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. We're going to read a couple short verses and do a prayer before we go into our praise session. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
You don't have to stand. I'm going to read a few verses. I'm going to wait for the elder to get herself together. Then I'm going to go into prayer.
Okay, I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Hallelujah. I'm going to start off in Deuteronomy 8 and verse 1. It says, all the commandments which I command thee this day, ye shall observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yah sware unto your fathers. And you shall remember all the way which Yah thy Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, and to know what was in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandment or no. And this is what the entire travel throughout the wilderness was all about. The entire trip throughout the wilderness, as they say, was only a few days' journey. But the Almighty turned it into a 40-year plight and a 40-year journey to our people, because he wanted to humble us and to prove us and to know what was in our heart, to see whether we will keep his commandments or whether no, we will do what we want to do. It says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, that thou mayest know, which thou knewest not. Neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee to know that man do not live by bread only. So this bread we just ate, man don't live, and we don't live by this bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yah doeth man live. And Yah's life, Yah's law is our length, is our law. Yah's law is our life and the length of our days. And check this out. He said, your raiment wax not old upon thee. And as I say many times, this raiment that we wear 1 or 2 times, wash it, and it be all disfigured, all shrunk up. But the Almighty said we traveled 40 years throughout the wilderness, and our raiment waxed not old. Neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. So our foot swelling and people's foot swelling, that ain't nothing new on the earth. Foot swelled all the way back in those days, you walk a lot. But the Almighty said, neither did thy feet swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chastise his son, so Yahweh will chastise thee. And this is something that all man has to face, is that although just how we chastise our son, the Almighty chastises us. Not because he hates us, not because he wants to be mean to us, but he chastises us only and only to put us back in line so that we can be where he wants us to be. Sometimes we think that we think that we are where we're supposed to be, but then sometimes the Almighty have to come back and put us where he wants us at. And this is why Yah chastises us. And this is no exception. All men, women, all living beings will endure chastisement from the mighty Yah. It says, therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of Yah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. Not to walk in our own ways, but to walk in his ways. And this is what the obedient will do. This is what the prudent will do, will walk in Yahweh's ways. It says, for Yahweh thy Elohim bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water. In other words, you ain't got to worry about the electric, the water company running all them pipes. Maybe we did have all that. We have springs. We can go down to the well. We have fresh running water. We had a method of getting that fresh running water back in every time. I don't know how we recycle it or if we even recycle it. Maybe we have fresh water all the time and dumped all the old water out somehow. I don't know. But we have fresh water, waters of brooks, of fountains, and depths that spring out of the valleys of hills. A land of wheat and barley, and vines, and fig trees, and pomegranates. A land of oil, olive, and honey. A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stone is iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten, and this is where we at right now, and this is where we're going to face the east. It says, when thou hast eaten and are full, then shalt thou bless Yahweh thy Elohim for the good land which he giveth thee. And we want to thank you this day, Almighty Yah, for the good food that you've given us, Almighty Yah. We want to be in remembrance, Yah, of all of your precepts, your statutes, your laws, your judgments, your commandments, and all your ways of wisdom in which you instructed our forefathers, Almighty Yah, in which you also commanded that they be handed down to us, that we may do the same, Almighty Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We want to also thank you, Yah, and ask you, Almighty Yah, to please bless and be with many of our sick, Almighty Yah. We have a few individuals, Yah, who have requested prayer, and we would ask everyone to please say their names in your mind, and we're going to give everybody just a few minutes to ask Yah to name all the people who we want to solicit prayer from. We don't want to mention all the names over the internet, but we just want to take about 30 seconds to run the names to our head and say, Yah, please bless and be with and have mercy on these people. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Yah. 11th verse. It says, beware. And this is back to us now. Beware that we forget not Yahweh our Elohim. In doing what?
Not keeping his commandments.
In not keeping his commandments. And his judgments. And his statutes, all of them, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and are full and have built goodly homes, and this is where we at right now. We all are in, as the sister was saying earlier, we have all eaten. We are all full. We all have goodly homes that we can go to with various air conditioners and carpet and nice beds that we can lay in and refrigerators. But we still have to continue to ask the Almighty, and the Almighty has given us these things out of his mercy. When our forefathers suffered through slavery, we are here for a punishment. But the Almighty has relieved that oppression. And we have to truly be grateful to the Most High for all the great things that he has given us. And this is why we ask the Almighty when we have eaten and we are full. Because it's easy to ask the Almighty when you need it. But when you've eaten and are full and can still come back and bless Yah and say, thank you, Yah, for all the great things you've given me, that makes Yah know that you appreciated him for all the great things that you've given, that he's given you. 11th verse, beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy Elohim, and not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and are full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, you got 2 or 3 nice cars. You got a lot of herds, you got a lot of clothes. And thy silver and thy gold is multiplied. Got money in the bank. And all that thou hast is multiplied. that thy heart be lifted up. And that's one of the problems that our people are enduring now. Our hearts are lifted up, and we not in remembrance of the mighty YAH. For that then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents, scorpions, and drought, wherein there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock, who led thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end. Hallelujah. And also let us consider that that's what our chastisement is for as well, so that Yah can ultimately do us good at our latter end. Hallelujah. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy Elohim, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swore unto thy fathers as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou shalt at all forget Yah thy Elohim, and walk after other deities, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish, as the nations which Yah destroyed before your face. So shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. And that's very important, because hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And we just got to remember to always try to be obedient to the Almighty, regardless of what comes before us, what temptations we have that come before us, or whatever. We always have to be mindful to do our best to be obedient to the Almighty, because that is still a requirement of us. Hallelujah. All right, praise the mighty Yah. So we got a couple people that are going to sing some praises to the mighty Yah before we, some poems and some praises to the mighty Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm going to do my poem on forgiveness, because we've been dealing with anger and, the different attributes we've been dealing with during our study earlier. So I think it would be good if I could top it off with forgiveness.
Hallelujah.
How do you forgive someone that has hurt you way down in your soul? The first step is to give it to Yah and let go. Do you ever stop and think about all the people that you have hurt in your life? Because you can hurt someone directly and you can hurt them indirectly. Well, because we have such a loving Elohim, he gives us a chance to make it right. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 34, Yah said, I will forgive their sins. I will not remember their iniquities no more. Therefore, I need to calm down, y'all, please. Therefore, totally remove the hurt, thoughts, and feelings completely from your mind. Stand on Yah's word while he put your life in line. In the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8, we are told how Yah wants us to be. To be meek, to be humble, to love mercy, and walk humbly with thy Elohim. Yes, now do you see? He lays it all out for us in his words. How we are really supposed to be. So be meek and humble, reach out to others, teach them God's words. Why you have to put that song on? You messing with my spirit now. You ready to bring some tears up out of here now. Wow. I ain't say turn it off. You actually turn it up. And just let that minister to our spirit. Yes. Come on, Sarah. If you ain't here, you better be singing it at home. I know you're watching. Yes, baby. Turn it up. Turn it up, please, please. Yes.
I know that you Praise God.
Hallelujah.
This is a Tricky Beat production.
Hey, it's an ongoing mission telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk it wrong, tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey, because I'm all about my YAH, my Elohim. Even when I stand alone and I'm starting to let go. Because I stress over things I can't control. Head heavy in my scripts that give me hope. Is he right by my side? That's something I don't hope. That's something that I know. So I had to write this. They say young Yisrael, go vote. When it's not in our control, I see my people losing hope. Hey, composer, my composure so bold. Yahweh's covenant will reload. Yeah, that's right. I feel it in my soul. Man, this flow gon' make them run. No, this flow don't sound too fun. All that Christian, I'm so safe. It make my ears go numb. Hey, I just need a break. I just need to break it down, cause they try to break us down and bend these laws, but my people built to stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, with my people, with my people, with my people. It's an ongoing mission telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk it wrong. Tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey, because I'm all about my YAH, my Elohim. Even when I stand alone, my problem's bigger than Goliath. I need guidance from the highest. Put pressure on my people like the answer is to riot. If you ask them who's the pilot, everybody's indecisive. Yeah, shout out to my people. Keep these words and these laws through thick and thin. We stay strong. Hey, hey, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, with my people, with my people, with my people. It's an ongoing mission telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk it wrong. Tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey, because I'm all about my YAH, my Elohim. Even when I stand alone, we just have to stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, with my people, with my people, with my people. Back to the subject at hand, I'm talking about following the duties of man, forgetting the concepts and precepts of man. I'm the creator, number one fan, cool with lions. I feel like I'm damn, flow too hot, like what is a tan? The flame door for the words that I'm saying, protecting the laws that he wrote with his hands, so stay strong. Yeah, yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of YAH, hey, with my people, with my people, with my people, with my people. It's an ongoing mission telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk it wrong. Tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey, because I'm all about my YAH, my Elohim. Even when I stand alone, we just have to stay strong. Praise YAH. Let's turn the music up a little bit. Hey, clap. You can start it over for me just a little bit. Just like press the lock button. It's right there by the volume.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
There we go.
Hallelujah.
Y'all looking good today. Praise Yah.
So are
Can we
you.
give Yahweh a round of applause? Thank you. He allowed us to drive down to Florida and back. Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Beautiful weather on the road. Got to see
Okay.
my mother and my father. That's always a
blessings.
blessing. Hallelujah. Whenever you're ready, I'll take number 3. It was a beautiful trip though. The roads was very clear. The sky was very beautiful. Very beautiful. You can go ahead and yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
This is Senior Beats production. Yeah, I'm still out being a fool. I'm still out doing the things that I told you that I wouldn't do. See, I don't know why I disrespect you. You do for me that I didn't even ask you. You say go right and I wanna go left. Now look at me, I'm crying all night. I'm gonna go back, no more. Please, y'all, I'm extra girl. See, I never meant to hurt you like that. I just hope it's not too late to turn back. How long will you forget me? How long will you hide your face from me? Oh yeah. How long should I take counsel in my soul? Having sorrow in my heart lately. How long will I be blinded? Can't see. I'm crying all these tears. Yahweh, please hear and come save me. How long shall my enemies be told to obey? today. All right. I'm ready to ask one of y'all. Praise YAH.
Hallelujah. Praise the mighty YAH. Fantastic lyrics. I was reading and meditating on your lyrics this week, and I'm like, this is just so profound, yeah. It really is.
Yeah, like when y'all can heal, it's the same lyrics, but it's in a different order.
Oh, okay.
And it represents change.
Okay, right. Right.
Because at the end it's now it's past tense.
Connection.
Right. That you did let everything go and that you're changing in that Yahweh continually.
Right, that He's did it. Hallelujah.
You know, I
Right.
changed it up just to represent change and stuff like that. Because when you're trying to change, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take
Right.
time.
Right.
So,
And thank Him for His mercy that gives us time.
yeah.
Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
This song that I'm gonna do is a song that I haven't done in I don't know how long. But I want to praise Yahweh because I remember I wrote this song the day of one of my birthdays. So I was giving glory to Yah, and I just happened to write this song, and
Hallelujah.
so here goes nothing. Thank you for the blessings you continue to sing in my way. Thank you for the mercy you're always showing me. I want to thank you, Yahweh. I want to thank you, my Elohim. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. You surprise me. I don't know where I go. Don't know where I be. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. I don't know where I go. Don't know where I be. You sustain me. Oh, you sustain me. Now as I sit back and just count all my blessings, I catch my burdens on God, there is no more stressing. He put joy in my heart, He put a smile here on my face. How great is our King, how great is our Yahweh. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. You surprise me. I don't know where I go. Don't know where I be. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. I don't know where I go. Don't know where I be. You sustain me. Oh, you sustain me. I catch the sun going up and I catch it going back down. There'll be a party in Jerusalem, a party in my town, where all the nations can come and give thanks to our Yahweh. For the time's almost near, Yahweh, put a smile on your face. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. You surprise me. I don't know where I go. Don't know where I be. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. You surprise me. I don't know where I go. Don't know where I be. You sustain me. Oh, you sustain me. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. I don't know where I go, don't know where I be. 'Cause day by day, oh, you surprise me. I don't know where I go, don't know where I be. You sustain me, oh, you sustain me. Hallelujah.
He surprised you. Hallelujah, that was beautiful. Oh.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Let's go to Habakkuk, the first chapter. Hallelujah. As we draw near to the end of the Sabbath, I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. Of course, I try to always incorporate one key component in all every time I get up here, and that's patience. And as was stated earlier, patience is something that you have to learn throughout the course of your life, especially when you serve in the Most High. However, though, in that time between, what we can do is we can prepare ourselves to receive that which is coming. So let's look at the very first verse of Habakkuk. And this was a regular man, just like you and me. But this man had some questions that he needed answered from the Almighty. And starting at the very first verse, it says, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. It says, and this is during the time when our people first was infiltrated by the Babylonians or the Chaldeans. Look at verse 2. It says, O Yahweh, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Now I know we as the servants of the Most High, we've all been in a position to where we've been praying to Yah about some things, especially things concerning our people. And it's not that the Most High in that moment in time doesn't hear our prayers, but it's because the Most High has already addressed this issue, and he has caused this issue to come to pass before you even witnessed it, right? So that's something we have to understand, but of course there's no harm in asking the Almighty anything. The Most High said it's the scripture. What scripture does it say that we can call him for all things? That's Deuteronomy, I believe. The Most High is near for all things that we call upon him for. So we can always ask the Almighty questions. And sometimes all you got to do is open your book and your question will be answered.
Hallelujah.
But it says, why doest thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? Now that word grieve, that means that you tired. You tired and you sad about everything that's going on. And then look what he says. He says, for spoiling and violence are before me. People getting robbed, people getting slaughtered. People losing their lives, and innocent are losing their lives. And there are that raise up strife and contention. Every time I wake up, it's always some strife and some contention, some controversy, some fear, some negative news. Something is always going on. There's always something. But in Habakkuk case, this is a continuous thing. And then at verse 4 it says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth. Now why did Habakkuk say that? Because once people start to witness how easy it is to do crime, once people get a taste and they see others getting away with certain things, you know what happens? They start to do the same thing. Monkey see, monkey do. And therefore, everybody, and this is why you don't see a lot of people here. And we can sit here, we can go outside and teach people about the Almighty, but will they take hold unto His covenant? Very few people. And the reason behind that is because people have lost hope in this book. People have lost hope in religion, in spirituality, spiritual and divine principles. So Habakkuk said, therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceeds. You better not make that. You better not say what you're going to say. You better not speak this truth. You better not reveal what we got going on here. And if you do, we gonna kill you. Therefore, wrong judgment proceeds. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. And it's funny that word marv got the word L in it. Marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you. Look at verse 6. And this is what Yahweh had did to us. He said, for lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Now, this is why we must become more patient, and more patient. Because one day the wicked will meet his match. And not just the wicked, anybody who starts to get a little ahead of themselves, anybody who starts to get the big head, anybody who starts to deem themselves powerful and nobody can stop me. And see, this is why I don't worry about certain things that I see in the media. I don't worry about certain things that comes out of governor's mouth or anything, because it's always somebody bigger and badder than them. It's always somebody bigger and badder than them being raised up to destroy them. So all the things that they have done to us, all the afflictions, the Most High said we would be afflicted for 400 years. That means ever since we got off these boats, we will be afflicted. From beginning until the end. And then Yahweh said what? He was going to judge this people. He was going to judge this people. Let's go to Proverbs 17 and 11. And hold Habakkuk 1. 17 and 11. And this is why this is important. And the Most High, in the testimony, it says Solomon was blessed with very supernatural understanding and insight. So Solomon was not your average counselor. You know how good LeBron James can dunk a basketball? Well, that's how wise King Solomon was. His gifts was supernatural and divine from the Most High. Proverbs 17 and 11. It says, an evil man seeks only what? Rebellion. Therefore, a cruel what? Messenger shall be sent against him. And this is for every single scenario. Because at the end of the day, either you got it or you don't got it. Either you got it or you don't got it. Either it's your fate or it's not your fate. Either it's you or it's not you. So we as the servants of the Most High, we shouldn't be seeking rebellion against the United States government or any other form of government. If there's one thing that we should be rebelling against, it's our heart. Other than that, we just wasting energy. Now, of course, when you talk to different religious sects, they'll tell you that no matter what man comes up talking about they got a plan for our people, that man has no wisdom, no understanding in the inside, because we're supposed to be waiting on this Savior to come and get us. We're supposed to be waiting on the Savior to come get us out of this situation. And I have a problem with both sides of that. I have a problem with both sides of that. Let's go to the book of Samuel. 15 and 23. First Samuel 15 and 23. Hold Habakkuk. And these are the effects of rebelling against the divine principles. See, obedience just goes way farther. It goes way deeper. It goes a whole lot deeper than keeping the Sabbath every week. Obedience has such a greater responsibility. Because sometimes Yahweh may give us a direct commandment that he didn't tell anybody else. Right? How many of us felt that direct commandment before at one point in time in our life when our intuition was just screaming out, you need to do this. And you got a good result as an effect of it. See, sometimes we know the heart knows its own bitterness. The heart also knows its own fate. Most High said he made us upright. He showed us what is good. The heart knows its fate. So look at what Samuel said. Look at the 22nd chapter. The 15th chapter and the 22nd verse. And see, Yahweh gave Saul a direct commandment through his prophet Samuel. Verse 22. It says, and Samuel said, have Yahweh as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. See, Yahweh is not impressed with the things that we're impressed about. Sacrifices or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to relate it to. The Most High said, look, I just want you to be obedient. If I made you to be a screwdriver, why are you trying to be a hammer? If I made you a Brillo pad, why are you trying to be a mop? It says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Behold, because thou hast rejected the word of Yah, he hath also rejected thee from being what? Being king. And see, that's the one thing that can get you cut off from the Almighty, and that's disobedience. Rebellion. And that's just why we have to always prove. See, even though we have nothing to prove to each other, we do have something to prove to the Most High. We got to prove that we worth that next day. Each and every night we should be getting on our knees praying to the Almighty and begging for us to see that next day. Real quick.
Shabbat Shalom, I'll make it quick. I remember a long time ago, my science teacher told me that I was very cantankerous and stubborn. And I should take pride in that, like, yeah, I'm stubborn, yeah, whatever, so what? And then I remember when I read this, and it was talking about the stubbornness, it's just idolatry. And I was like, oh, wee. You know, let me check myself real quick. So I want to just praise y'all because I've been working, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job of not being as stubborn as I was, and just, you know, getting away from being stubborn, period. So hallelujah.
Correct. Let's go to Jeremiah 28. So rebellion is a serious thing. And oftentimes that's the reason why people lose their lives. King Josiah. The story of King Josiah. He was meddling in affairs that didn't have anything to do with him, and as a result, he lost his life. See, sometimes through our own foolishness, we can get cut off. Things can happen to us. That's why Yahweh gave us wisdom, so we can have the foresight to be able to make the right decision when it comes to us. Look at the very first verse. And this is another example of rebellion. And this is all relating to around the time of Habakkuk, or after the time, more than likely. It says, and it came to pass, this is the first verse of Jeremiah 28. And it came to pass the same year in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, in the 4th year and in the 5th month, that Hananiah, the son of Azor, the prophet, which was of Gibeon, spake unto me in the house of Yahweh, in the presence of the priests, and of all the people, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, saying, I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 full years, I will bring again into this place all the vessels of Yahweh's house that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took away from this place and carried them to Babylon. And I will bring again this place Yehoiakiniah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, with all the captives of Yehuda that went into Babylon, saith Yah. For I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. Then, so you had one prophet who said that the yoke of the king of Babylon would be broken in a couple of years. But look at verse 5. Then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah, in the presence of the priests and in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of Yah, even the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. Yahweh do so. Yahweh perform thy words which thou hast prophesied to bring again the vessels of Yahweh's house and all that is carried away captive from Babylon into this place. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophet which prophesies of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that Yahweh have truly sent him. Then Hananiah the prophet took the yoke from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck and brake it. And Hananiah spake in the presence of all the people, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, even so will I break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, from the neck of all nations within the space of 2 years. And the prophet Jeremiah went his way. Then the word of Yahweh came unto Jeremiah the prophet, after Hananiah the prophet had broken the yoke from off the neck of the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Go and tell Hananiah, saying, Thus saith Yah, thou hast broken the yokes of wood, but thou shalt make for them yokes of iron. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron upon the neck of all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and they shall serve him. and I have given him the beasts of the field also. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, Hear now, Hananiah, Yahweh hath not sent thee, but thou makest this people to trust in a lie. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will cast thee from off the face of the earth. This year thou shalt die, because thou hast taught, what? Rebellion against Yah. So Hananiah the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. So this is another example of somebody rebelling against the Most High. And see, these are the things that we have to be careful, because Yahweh didn't send everybody. And it's a lot of black leaders that has done came, and guess what? They went. Anybody, any type of person seeking to redeem Yahweh's people, seeking to save us from this situation, because remember in Deuteronomy 28, Yahweh said, look, no man shall deliver you. This situation that we in right here, Yahweh got to come down himself and work with whoever he's going to work with to free us out of this situation. We won't be redeemed like we won't be redeemed like all the other nations were redeemed. We won't obtain our freedom the way all the other nations obtained their freedom. And we can see here in Jeremiah 28 that it was Yahweh's will for us to go into slavery and in captivity and to serve the king Nebuchadnezzar. Just as it's Yahweh's will that we continue to serve our enemies here in this land. As the consciousness of our people rise up, the consciousness level of our people rise up, the word of Yahweh have to be sent to them. The word of Yahweh have to meet them. Because it's only through the laws and the statutes and the ordinances that Yahweh professed to us of old. That's the only way. That's the only thing that's going to set our people free. It's just taking hold on Yahweh's covenants. If it's anything other than that, then that person, then Yahweh had not sent that person. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to comment on, you hit the nail right on the head, but in the book of Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, my question to you was going to be, how do you know whether a person is coming in the counsel of Yah? And in Jeremiah 23, if you read verse 18 through 22, that'll answer that question. If you can read that.
Yeah. Everybody go to Jeremiah 23.
Because see, Almighty said, and one of the problems is, I think, with people nowadays, just one of the things that I see is that a lot of people like to be indoctrinated with knowledge, right? Right? Everybody wants knowledge, but is knowledge really the thing that we supposed to be searching for to be wise? Because once people start gravitating towards, I want knowledge, then people start searching out their own glory. Right. But the key ingredient is in that Jeremiah 23, and you can start at the 18th verse.
For who hath stood in the counsel of Yah, and hath perceived and heard his word, who hath marked his word?
Okay. Start in the 17th verse.
They say still unto them that despise me, Yahweh said, Ye shall have peace. And they say unto everyone that walks after the imagination of their own heart, No evil shall come upon you. For who hath stood in the counsel of Yah, and hath perceived and heard his word? Who hath marked his word and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of Yah is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. The anger of Yah shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they have stood in my counsel and have caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings.
And that 22nd verse, that's a very unpopular place to be in. as a servant of Yah. As many of these prophets were in Jeremiah, Isaiah. Because when you come in the name of Yah, you actually fighting, you trying to train people to fight against the rebellion of their own heart and the things that we've been conditioned to do. And just like Zuriel just commented about being stubborn. Like, yeah, I'm stubborn. The problem is that we take pride in being stubborn nowadays. That's the way we are conditioned. That's the way the world conditions people, which is a complete opposite of what how Yah wants us to condition.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Not only does the society promote it, but we promote it ourselves among each other. We view it as entertaining. But Yahweh is the one that's going to get the last laugh. You can laugh for the moment, but you won't have the last laugh. So back to what I was saying. Yes.
Praise God. I wanted to say something that I had looked and was looking at this. And it says in at the first verse of 28 Jeremiah, and it came to pass in the same year, in the beginning of the 4th year. So we know this was the beginning of the year. And then he come down here and tell him in 16, therefore thus says Yahweh, behold, I will cast thee from off the face of the earth this year, you know. And then it says, so the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. So I was just looking at that to see that he didn't even get time to atone, you know, because this was a month of, you know, the 7th month was the atonement. So he killed him even before he could even, if he wanted to atone and, you know, try to ask for forgiveness. He got him before then, so praise God. So we better be careful.
Hallelujah. And the 7th month was a sacred time for us.
Yeah. He ain't waste no time for that.
So as I was saying, we have to understand exactly who we are, and what we were sent to do, and then we have to be true to who we are. Right? As I said before, if the Most High made you a screwdriver, why are you trying to be a hammer? A screwdriver can be just as effective as a hammer if they're in tune with themselves. I wanted to say screwdriverness, but that's not a word. Let's look at Jeremiah 29. Now these are the prices and the effects that Yahweh has for people that rebel against him. And see, the unique thing about this captivity is that, to me it seems, is that Yahweh, he brings evil upon our people. And we become aware of this evil and injustice that's going on. But see, we think the answer is fighting back. We think we really can beat this enemy with guns and weapons and learning karate and all this one stuff, right? That's not how we're going to win. And if we make that our foundation, we're definitely not going to win. That's a good start, but that shouldn't be our foundation. Our foundation should be acknowledging the truth. And when we look at the truth, the proof of history of how we got here, it's our own fault because of what we did to the Most High. And the Most High told us, he said, once you accept your punishment, you got to accept the fact that, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you the glory, y'all. My ancestors done you bad, y'all. And until this very day, we have seen it. The first step was always repentance. And then from there, once you once you apologize to the Most High, then he'll start to deal with you. But if you want to just get mad, get angry, get stubborn, not listen, and rebel against King Nebuchadnezzar, it's only one fate for you. It's only one fate for you. And honestly, it's funny. That's how Yahweh brings about the affliction of our people. It's through these presidents. It's through these presidents. So let's look at chapter 29. It says, now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent unto Jerusalem, unto the residue of the elders, which were carried away captive, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After that, Jeconiah the king, and the queen, and the eunuchs, the princes of Yehuda and Jerusalem, and the carpenters, the smiths, were departed from Jerusalem by the hand of Elisha, the son of Shaphan, and Gamaliel, the son of Hilkiah. Verse 4. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive, whom I have caused. Whom I have caused. And I hate the fact that when people say that these scriptures are not real and living. The same thing that happened to our people back then is the same thing that happened now. Whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Verse 5. Build ye houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives, beget sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons. Give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And what? Seek the what? Seek the peace of the city, whether I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto Yahweh for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. Now that was the Chaldean captivity. The fact is that this captivity is going to get so bad because the man that Yahweh put us under, they something else. They devising all types of schemes to get rid of Yahweh's people. See, the Chaldeans didn't have the full knowledge of who we were. They didn't have the full knowledge. The United States has learned from their fathers. They learned from the Chaldeans, from the Greeks and the Medo-Persians and the Romans. So this time it's going to be different. But the Most High says, seek the peace of the city. Focus on growing your family. Focus on sustaining yourselves. Develop the state of mind to where you can become dependent upon yourself. And see, sharecropping is not how we're going to do that. Sharecropping is not how you're going to build a house. That's going to keep you living in somebody else's house. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams, which ye cause to be dreamed, for they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith Yah. For thus saith Yah, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you, and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith Yahweh, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then ye shall call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. Now that last verse was key. He said, then shall I hearken unto you. Then shall you pray, and I will hear you. Even though Yahweh is hearing us now, the Most High is not really moving for Israel. Israel ain't tapped into that true spiritual prayer. That true spiritual power that we got with the Almighty. That get the Almighty moving for real. Everything has its time and season. And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith Yah. And I will turn away your captivity. And I will gather you from all the nations, from all the places where I have driven you, saith Yah. I will bring you again into the place which I caused you to be carried away captive. Yahweh is going to do the same thing here as it is this day. I promise you. But the key thing that Yahweh said, he said, once you seek me with all your heart. And see, we should be using this time because we know that the world has changed. It's misstated. The world has changed and it's not going back to the way it used to be. This is a new time for us. This is a more shaky time. These are uncertain times for us, right? Very uncertain. We need to be using this energy to seek the Most High. Because these are very fearful times as well. These are fearful times. Just give it some time. I know we're not feeling it right now, but give it some time. These are very fearful and dreadful times. Because ye have said, Yahweh has raised us up prophets in Babylon, know that, thus saith Yah, of the king that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwell in this city, and of your brothers that are not going forth with you into captivity. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. And I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, with the pestilence, will deliver them to be removed in all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse, an astonishment, a hissing, a reproach among all nations whither I have driven them, because they have not hearkened unto my words, saith Yah, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early, sending them, but ye will not hear, saith Yah. Hear ye therefore the word of Yah, all ye of the captivity, whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, of Ahab, the son of Koliah, and of Zedekiah, and the son of Maaseiah, which prophesied lie unto you in my name. Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. And of them shall be taken up a curse by all the captivity of Yehudah which are in Babylon, saying, Yahweh make thee like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have committed villainy in Israel, have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives. And notice that's the first thing that he said about these leaders. These people that were in power upon the throne of David. And see, it's the same thing that's going on with a lot of these leaders, these so-called leaders of black folks. They talk a good game, they talk all this freedom, they talk about all this black power and all this, right? But they turn around and sleep with your wife. And have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. Even I know, and am a witness, saith Yah. Thus shalt thou also speak to Shemaiah the Nehelamite, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, saying, Because thou hast sent letters in thy name unto all the people that are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah, son of Maaseiah the priest, to all the priests, saying, Yahweh hath made thee a priest instead of Jehoiada the priest, and that ye should be officers in the house of Yah. For every man that is mad and maketh himself a prophet, that shouldest put him in prison and in the stocks. Now therefore, why hast thou not reproved Jeremiah of Anathoth, which maketh himself a prophet to you? For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long, build ye houses and dwell in them. So basically what he was saying is Jeremiah should be punished for all the things that he said. For therefore he has sent us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long, build ye houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them. And Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the ears of Jeremiah the prophet. Then the word of Yahweh came unto Jeremiah, saying, Send to all them of the captivity, saying, Thus saith Yahweh concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, because that Shemaiah hath prophesied unto you, and I have sent him not, and he caused you to trust in a lie. Therefore thus saith Yah, Behold, I will punish Shemaiah the Nehelamite and his seed, and he shall not have a man to dwell among his people. Neither shall he behold the good that I will do for my people, saith Yah, because he has taught what? Rebellion against Yah. And see, these are the things, these are the way that the people are going to rebel against you. If you're really seeking to do Yahweh's work and go among the company of these black leaders, this is the way that they're going to respond to you. When you get to telling them, yeah, we got to wear our fringes. Yeah, we got to keep the Sabbath. Yeah, we gotta make our supplications to the Most High. When you start giving them the real answers, sad thing to say, they ain't gonna want to hear it. Which is why Yahweh gotta work in the darkness. Because the leaders that we got set up over us right now, they're not the real leaders. First of all, the real leaders of the nation is the Levites. It's the Levites. The Most High said he was going to make everything that's on high. He said he was going to set that low. And then that which is low, he's going to make high. The tables are going to completely turn. Us right here, when Yahweh start to really work, everything is going to be swapped. All these celebrities and stars who sold out their soul for money and still want to talk about this black stuff, this conscious stuff, this stuff is going to switch. Brothers and sisters in here are going to be kings and queens. The poor Levite, he going to get the oil on him. He going to get the change of garment. Everything is going to swap suddenly. Now let's go to Jeremiah 30. Look at the first verse. And because of those things that he did, for speaking those lies in the name of Yah, Yahweh said, look, you ain't going to have a man among my people no more. Now this is key right here. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh saying, thus speaketh Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken to thee unto thee in a book. And what's this book called? It's called the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah. Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith Yah, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Yehudah, saith Yah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Yehudah. For thus saith Yah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of what? Peace. And this is what we have today. And voting blue is not going to fix that. And that's why they so in a rush to tell you to vote blue, because they want peace. They don't want to see their country fall, but it has to fall. It has to fall. And the reason it has to fall, it's back to Habakkuk. Look at Habakkuk 2 and 12. And we know the history of America and what they did to the Indians. Right. If that be the true history. Sounds true to me. Sounds very true to me. Look at verse 12. It says, woe to him that buildeth a town with what? With blood. Establish a city by what? Iniquity. And if the United States was to go on trial before this, before the Most High, you think what you think their fate would be? Guilty. Look at verse 9. Woe to him that covets an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. These are people who act in haste out of Yahweh's commandment. These are people who act in haste to gain resources, to gain land, to gain power, to gain the people's minds, And the funny thing about it is, they think that that's going to hide them in the day of Yahweh's trouble. I don't care how many black people you can organize. If the message ain't to keep these laws and these statutes and these commandments, by the power of a black military, by the power of black money, by the power of black wealth, by the power of black whatever, if the Most High ain't in there, you won't be hid. Jehoiakim thought he was going to be hid from the king of Babylon. Not so. He thought just because he sat on the throne of David, he had a little power, had a little influence, thought he couldn't be touched. Not so. And when Nebuchadnezzar got there, he plucked his eyes out. Killed his sons. Verse 15. The United States is also guilty of this. And the way that they do this is through the media. It says, woe unto him that gives his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that they may exploit them, make you look like a fool. And the media controls our culture through our music. They control our perception of each other through our music. And through movies and entertainment. And they think that all black, and then they group us all into this category. That's what you call prejudiceness, racism. And then verse 18, with this Christ figure that they made. Verse 19, excuse me. Woe unto him that said to the wood, awake to the dumb stone, arise and shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. But Yahweh is where? In his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Look at verse 17 of Habakkuk chapter 3. And I will show you what true strength is. Because see, it's a man that maketh himself rich and have nothing, right? But it's a man whom Yahweh made poor, and they got what? They got it all. Now, which one is more rich? That poor man. It's better to be that poor man. Because at least you're happy. Look at verse 17. Although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield what? No meat. This is coming. What else is enough to bring a man to his knees, to his stomach? And the field shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. Yet I will rejoice in YAH. I will joy in the Elohim of my salvation. Yahweh Elohim is my what? And you don't know your true strength until it's tested. He will make my feet like hinds' feet. He will make me to walk upon mine high places, to the chief singers on my string instruments. Hallelujah. So we see right here that it's better for us to have understanding of the time that we're in. Look at Habakkuk 2:1. Because so what, we're not the strongest. So what, we don't have a military. Right? So what? We ain't had a military all this time, and we still here. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall what? It shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, what? Wait for it. Because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. But the just shall live by what? His faith. So these are all good principles that we should learn and that we should take to our grave and teach our children. Most High has protected us. And let me ask you something. Would you rather have a military with 1,000 men? Or would you rather have some angels? Those thousand of angels around you. Which one would you rather have? Do you know which one you got? I know which one I got. I got the angels around me. Because the power that Yahweh gave my fathers was spiritual. Esau was a man of war. He was coming. But Jacob had the power of the Almighty with him. I'm done. Praise the mighty God. Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to be closing out in a few minutes, but I did want to, Ruben's going to come forward and give an update on a couple things. One of the things that I did want to start kicking back up, we were having our weekly meetings, as you all know, about COVID and what was going on. We're going to try to start bringing some of these just updates to the end of our service as current events every week. And the reason why we're going to do that is because, first of all, we know that in order to sustain the economy of this country, they had to open the United States back up to get the economy going back, get people working. It was a double-edged sword. And now what they're saying is that the cases are now beginning to drastically spike. Yeah. So what's happening is that this is going to be a major key figure in what's going on with our plight. As we know, this whole thing was brought down by the Most High, and this is going to be a major key factor on how YAH is moving in the earth. So we're going to try to start bringing some of these updates on a weekly basis. Ruben got a few updates he's going to give today. And the reason why this is so important is because we haven't even felt the effects of how it really hits our people. Anytime we're in the summer months, everybody got money, income tax left over, things are cheaper. But as soon as these winter months start hitting, this is when we're going to see the effect of COVID and all the things that the Almighty doing really 5 times start to hit our people and start to hit the world. So I want people to understand that. Number one, things get more expensive in the wintertime. Who all know that? With energy costs, with everything, it's just more expensive in the wintertime. And people are already in situations, it's easier to live in the summer. You can go outside, you don't need air. You can survive all heat, but when it comes to the wintertime, that's going to be the time that's really going to be a drastic problem for people and our people. So he's going to give a few updates. And then we'll come back next week with more information.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So I came with a few updates about the coronavirus. So next week I'm going to do a presentation on the economy of Egypt and comparing it to the economy of America right now. As of June 29th and June 30th, 40 million jobs have been lost. And just now, I just read an article about President Trump bragging that, oh, we got 5 million back. Well, 5 million compared to 40 million, that's not that much. That's still 35 jobs that nobody has. The unemployment rate is 11.1%. 2 million chickens have been killed because lack of employees. 12 major meat factories have been shut down and beef shortages come to follow. So major means they're all over the United States. And all 12 of those, they're all shutting down, which means the beef shortages, which means restaurants are not going to get money, which brings the economy down even more. Trump wants to send kids back to school, and the reason this is a bad idea is because one of two things can happen, or both. The teachers can get sick, they can't come to work, they can't get money, and the economy goes down. Or the students get sick, they can't come, and the teachers have no one to teach, which means they get no money, which means the economy goes down. So that's all the updates for this week, and for next week I will be presenting Genesis 41 and Exodus chapters 9 through 10, comparing the economy of Egypt to the economy of America. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right, praise the mighty Yah. Do we have any final comments, testimonies, anybody want to give before we close out? This one, go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Shabbat Shalom, family. I want to make a comment in conjunction with what Ruben was just speaking about, because I shared, or I don't know, at one point I was working, had a job, but I got discontent in my heart with the finances, so I left that job, went to a better paying job. Only the better paying job was way too hard. So then I left that job, and then I've been looking for jobs, and what I found is they're lying. What I mean is recruiters, because I look for jobs that are just like Monday through Friday. Recruiters are telling you, yeah, it's Monday through Friday, blah, blah, blah. But then when you get to the interview, the interviewers are saying, hey, but we need you on like every other weekend. But we pay you $20, $25. So you got to say, no, I'm not going to give you my Sabbath ever. And that's what they're doing to our people now. They're tricking you, getting you to come to these interviews and all of this and promising you astronomical money because they need the bodies. But they want you to sacrifice your Sabbath in order to do it. So just a word to the wise. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. When I asked everybody to put out prayers to we have a sister that lost her sister, actually her niece today, from possible COVID. Shay, she just informed me that her niece passed away today. And so prayers out. And it's a real thing, the COVID-19. We are not exempt from it. And it's just something we really need to stay mindful about. So any information that can help us is helpful for us. And like I say, we need to just put our prayers out to our closer people, for the strength of them, because they're facing. I mean, prayerfully, none of us will face that even more, but the possibilities are greater than less. So today, let's pray for our sister Shay and her family for the loss of her niece, which is 41 years young. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah, we will definitely pray for the sister and her family. This is why we want to let people know that, just like I was talking to one of the sisters earlier today, if somebody, that we as Israel are not exempt. We're not exempt from catching a cold. We're not exempt from catching the flu, and we're not exempt from catching COVID. Let somebody who have it come and sneeze in your face or blow those particles on you. I'm just saying, And I want us to really be mindful of this. You know, I know we think that we supernatural and we this and that. But you know, the Almighty said we are Elohims, but he said we shall also die like men. So we have to keep that in mind as we live our life. I won't belabor that anymore. I just want to thank everybody for coming and enjoying the Sabbath day. I think you got more comments?
Yes.
Hallelujah. This one.
Push it all the way up. Push it all the way up. No, it's not.
Well, I just want to say Shabbat Shalom, family. I enjoyed the Sabbath. And I had another birthday that was last month, so I had a wonderful time. And I want to thank for all the gifts. I just want to say, just continue to pray for us, and we just continue to do everything that Yahweh say do. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And we have to continue to pray for one another.
That too.
Because we all are, the scripture says the poor is like a sweeping rain that leaveth no food. And we all in a bad situation. We all in a situation where we need to hope in Yahweh's mercy. Hallelujah. Let us go ahead and face the east. Rise and face the east. Almighty Yah, we call upon you, Yah, with humble hearts, Yah, confessing our iniquities, Yah, daily, and confessing that our forefathers rebelled against thee, Yah, and also confessing that our people and we are still rebelling against you to this day, Almighty Yah. We ask you, Yah, to please have mercy upon us, Yah, to forgive us for our sins, Almighty Yah. Please grant us a pardon, Almighty Yah. And also, Yah, give us the strength to turn wholeheartedly to your law, Almighty Yah. Many people out in this world, Yah, are confused. The saints are being wore out by Almighty Yah. Satan has a hold upon our people, Almighty Yah, and he's prevailing. So we're asking you, Yah, to please strengthen your servants, Yah, your true servants, Yah, that they may walk in your law, Yah, and walk in your spirit, Almighty Yah, and that we may do the things that please you, Almighty Yah. We also ask you, Almighty Yah, that you please comfort and be with all of the ill that are among us, Almighty Yah. There's a few prayer requests, Yah, that we received today. Some names we won't mention, because I don't know if the people want their names mentioned, but Yah, you know who they are, Almighty Yah. We also ask you, O Most High, to please give strength to Sister Shay, who lost her niece, Heavenly Father, and comfort that family, Almighty Yah. Give them comfort in this time, Yah. Give them strength in this time, Yah. And give us the ability, Yah, to reach out to her so that we may provide comfort and strength to her as well, Almighty Yah. We also ask you, O Most High, to be with each and every one of us that are in this room, each and every one of us that are not in this room, that are your faithful servants, Yah, that didn't make it today. And each and every one of your servants, Yah, who are trying their best to keep your laws and your statutes and your commandments, Almighty Yah. For we need your strength, Yah. We need your power, Yah, because you are our only power, Almighty Yah. We need your saving grace, Yah. We need your salvation, Almighty Yah. Again, the wicked is trying to wear out the saints, your saints, Yah, and we asking you, Yah, to please continue to strengthen us, Yah. And please put a divine hedge of protection around us, Almighty Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shema.
Shema.
Yisrael.
Israel.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Akkad.
Akkad.
Hear, O Israel. Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh is one. I want to ask you all, also, Yah, to please be with our elders, Yah, that are not able to be with us through this time of pandemic, Yah, and all of the individuals that are sick and shut in, not able to be with us, that want to be here, but are not able because they want to try their best to stay protected, Almighty Yah. May the mighty Yah bless thee. May the mighty Yah keep thee. May the mighty Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May the mighty Yah lift up his countenance upon each and every one of you and give you peace. Also, may the name of the mighty Yah rest upon each and every one of you. Hallelujah!
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 Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
For Yah is righteous
Yah is righteous.
all the time.
All the time.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.